Here are 5 common mistakes that people with insomnia make that keep them stuck. Keep watching to find out if you are making any of these mistakes so that you can stop making them and start sleeping more. The first most common mistake that people make when it comes to their insomnia is putting pressure on themselves. This can come from things like you need sleep in order to get through the day, or you need sleep in order to do things that you enjoy. You could be putting things off, such as going out with friends, doing a hobby, doing some exercise. Yeah, you're not going to want to go do CrossFit, but you could do walking. You put this pressure on because you may think, oh, I'm going to get really unhealthy, I'm going to develop a disease, I'm going to get Alzheimer's or some kind of health condition because you're not getting enough sleep. Side note, there are no studies that actually prove that lack of sleep causes health issues. Now, when you think about all this pressure that you're putting on yourself like you have to get sleep in order to do all these things to achieve what you want, that pressure is going to add stress, it's going to add anxiety, it's going to add that performance anxiety when you go to bed. Like, all this is riding on getting sleep. What do you think that's going to do for the sleep? Obviously, it's going to lead to less sleep because your hyperarousal levels are going to be up and you're going to be stressing more. The next most common mistake when it comes to insomnia is taking sleeping pills forever. Sleeping pills, there are many issues that I have with sleeping pills. I totally understand why you go on them. You get desperate. I was at the same point. I was desperate to get sleep. I would do anything. I would take sleeping pills. I would drink a couple shots of tequila, whatever it took to get me to sleep. But in the long run, it's not the best option. First of all, sleeping pills generally last temporarily. They are a temporary solution, a temporary band-aid fix, and they don't go after the root cause. And believe it or not, sleeping pills don't actually make you sleep. I know they're sleeping pills and you think, yes, of course they make you sleep. They work for me. There are a couple things going on when it comes to sleeping pills. First of all, let's start with what you need for sleep. You need 2 things for sleep. You need high sleep drive, which is basically how sleepy you are, and insomnia is almost never that issue. Even if you aren't feeling sleepy, it's because you have high hyperarousals, which is the other thing you need, no hyperarousal level. The hyperarousal is masking that sleepiness if you aren't feeling sleepy. That is why that happens. Now, sleeping pills, the way they work is on your hyperarousal levels. They're indirectly lowering them. So the way it works is with 2 ways. First of all, through delegation. This is how supplements work as well. They aren't really making you sleep. So when you say you're going to take a magnesium or a sleeping pill or whatever that you're doing for sleep, you take it and you think, okay, I no longer have to worry about sleep. I don't have to do anything. The pill is going to take care of it for me, which is going to decrease that worry and that stress, and it's going to lower those hyperarousals indirectly because you're not stressing or worrying about it anymore. The other way is through it making you that groggy, giving you that groggy feeling, kind of like feeling drunk. When you feel like that, it's hard to form those thoughts and fears and reactions that we have to sleeplessness, so that your hyperarousal levels come down because you aren't able to form those thoughts or those reactions. The other issue with sleeping pills is because you aren't going after the root cause of your insomnia. You still have that worry. You still have, what if the sleeping pill stopped working? Is the sleeping pill going to work tonight? You may have a night or a day of more stress, things going on, a big event happening, something that triggers more stress, more hyperarousal, and the sleeping pills don't end up working. And then you always will have this fear, is the sleeping pill going to work? Is it not going to work? You're still always going to be having that fear and those reactions. It's not the fear of the bed or getting ready for bed that is keeping you awake. It's the fear of sleeplessness. That's what it all comes down to, and that's what's raising your hyperarousal levels up and keeping you awake at night. When instead, you could take the opportunity to teach the brain that you are safe. If you're awake in the middle of the night and you choose to do something that you enjoy instead, you're showing the brain that you are not fearing wakefulness and that you are safe. Another mistake that people make is that they follow advice from people inside of the insomnia Facebook groups. There are a few Facebook groups out there with thousands of people in them, sadly. And it's all people just desperate for sleep and trying to find answers. And I totally understand, because I was a part of those Facebook groups and I was looking for answers too. However, it is the blind leading the blind. Nobody in there really knows what they're doing or how to get to the root cause of insomnia or how to fix it. There are a lot of advice like, take these supplements. A lot of people, I took this supplement, I took this, and I took this, and I took this, and it worked. And it goes back to that mistake where you're taking pills or supplements, medications for sleep. You're not going after the root cause, and they're not really making you sleep. They all have good intentions, but they don't realize that it's not really working. It's coming down to their thoughts, and they think that they've cured their insomnia, things are working, and then they stop working for them, and then they're frustrated and searching for more answers. And if you're following all this advice or reading all these posts, it's going to give you the belief that you can control your sleep. Like we have the ultimate power to make ourselves sleep with pills and supplements and things that we can take. When in the end, sleep is a passive process. We cannot control it, and the more we try to control sleep, the less sleep we get. Instead, if you've been stuck in the insomnia cycle for a while, I recommend hiring a qualified coach who's been through insomnia as well or has good success with all of their clients. Which brings me to the last mistake, which is the belief that we can control our sleep. I know I already addressed this a little bit, but that is a big mistake. Thinking that we can control our sleep, like we can take a supplement, a pill, whatever it takes to try to make ourselves sleep. When in the end, like we already discussed, we can't control our sleep, and the more we try to control it, the less we are going to sleep. Remember, it comes down to two things. You need high sleep drive, which insomnia is 99% of the time not a sleep drive issue, and you need no hyperarousal levels. And that is where we're getting stuck, and that's where we're getting in the way of our own sleep. It's a passive process that happens naturally when our sleep drive is high and we have no hyperarousal levels. And when we keep trying all these pills and supplements and medications and then they end up failing, they're leaving us more and more frustrated, more and more worried, and more fearful. What do you think that's going to do to our sleep and our hyperarousal levels? Our hyperarousal levels are going to be up, and then we're not going to be able to sleep. So tell me, which mistake were you most shocked by? Tell me in the comments section below. And also, if you still feel like your sleep system is broken and there's something wrong, check out this video. I highly recommend it.